Welcome back to World History. I'm Mr. McCall. Today what we're going to discuss is the key vocabulary that we need to understand in order to do well with the early settlement and geography of India. So what I have first is subcontinent. Now India is a subcontinent of Asia. It's a smaller portion of a continent. Alright, so that's the definition that we'll be working with. Now, when we talk about India, we're going to talk about different things that separate it from the rest of Asia. Of course, we have Asia right here. And India is right here. See how a good portion of it juts out into the Indian Ocean. There's also some barriers that separate it from the rest of Asia. So oftentimes when we talk about India, we talk about it being a subcontinent, something less or something, a smaller portion of the bigger continent. So if I was going to write a sentence, I would say India is a subcontinent of Asia. All right. Now, the map that I was showing you is actually the Peters projection, and this might look a little bit different from other maps that you've seen. For example, the southern hemisphere looks a little bit bigger. And the reason for that is the map that usually we see is a Mercator projection, and it was used for sailing from Europe to the Americas and to Africa. So it's kind of an outdated map. I prefer the Peters projection because it gives an equal area representation. So this is actually the size of different continents. On the Mercator, the typical map shows Greenland up here about the same size as Africa. And this really shows you that Africa is one of the largest continents, and South America is oftentimes shown as a much smaller continent. So I prefer this one because it shows an equal area representation. All right, next up, monsoons. Now, what is a monsoon? Monsoons are strong winds that bring heavy rains to southern Asia. Specifically, we're talking about India. Oftentimes in history, explorers used these monsoons to travel around India and to have a trading system with Eastern Africa, especially Zanzibar and Tanzania. So they could bring a lot of good things. The water helped with many things. The water from the rains helped with many things, but it can also be dangerous. It can also cause a great deal of flooding and a lot of destruction. So I'm going to put the monsoons helped the trader reach India. I'm going to put the ancient traders reach India. And that was a very important thing because India has a lot of very important goods that the rest of the world did not have access to. We'll see later on the Silk Road becomes very important. It's bringing silk from China to Europe. And along that way, they also passed through India, and India had a lot of things that many different areas in the world wanted. All right, our final term that we need to discuss is a plateau. Now, this is the best picture I could find for a plateau because a plateau is a flat area that is raised. Let's do this. I'm going to do a flat raised area. All right, so that is what a plateau is. Up here it's flat and it's higher than the rest of the land. So we have the rest of the land over here, and then up here we have the plateau. Now, everybody in this class has studied 5th grade social studies, so you've already studied the Native Americans of the Great Plains in the United States. So this shouldn't be new. But a sentence we can do, the train traveled across the dry Deccan Plateau in India. Now, this is actually one of the different regions that we will be studying, so very important for you to begin to understand the plateau and also start thinking about the Deccan Plateau. Alright, so today we were working with key content terms, and I hope that you've developed an understanding of these 3 content terms. I'm Mr. McCall. This is World History. Take care.